Testing the walls of the dream. On waking inside the night. Experimenting with limits and choosing when to stop. Dream retelling. I'm lying on a bed with a group of people around me, as if we're in the middle of a meeting. I joke that I heard everything that was said and that it all made perfect sense to me, right up until about a minute ago when I started dozing off. The joke is that I'm clearly falling asleep and not actually hearing anything anyone is saying anymore. I rouse myself and say I need to stay awake for the meeting. Then something clicks. I realize it's 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm not in a meeting at all. I'm sleeping. I announce that realization and decide I'm going back to bed. That's when I notice I'm sharing the bed with a woman who looks like a stern, composed, judge-type figure. She's lying properly, head on the pillow, while my head is down near the footboard. When I stretch out, my feet end up messing up her hair and the covers. I immediately feel awkward and try to reposition myself so we're not colliding or intruding on each other's space. The scene shifts. Now I'm walking down a hallway as if I've left the room to give space. I open a door and step into another area, and the moment I do, I realize I'm dreaming. I'm lucid, I say out loud. Right after that, I restate my intention, to let the dream lead me where it wants to go. I find myself in a large, open interior space, almost like a hallway between rooms. There's a wide staircase, maybe 20 feet across, descending to another level with a door at the bottom. Instead of moving forward, I decide to experiment. I wonder what kinds of pain can actually reach me in the dream world. I jump down the stairs. When I land, I feel a faint aftershock in my legs, the kind of sensation you'd get from jumping too far in waking life. But it's muted, informational rather than painful. Then I run toward a tiled wall and slam my head into it. I do it again. There's a hollow sound, an echo of impact, but no pain at all. It feels staged, almost theatrical. I press my hands against the wall. It feels solid. I imagine that I can't phase through it, and that belief holds. My hands don't pass through. I think briefly about reversing that belief, imagining the wall becoming permeable. But another idea grabs my attention first. I imagine claustrophobia. Suddenly, I'm inside a very tight space, like a sideways telephone booth. The corridor is narrow, the walls angled and closing in. I even imagine them moving closer. There's only a small window, maybe a foot tall and a few inches wide, that I struggle to turn toward. As I try to look out the window, I feel a rise of panic. The confinement feels real enough to activate that instinctive fear of being trapped. I wonder if I could push it further, if I could simulate a full panic attack intense enough to wake me up. Then another thought interrupts. Is this actually healthy? Am I unnecessarily traumatizing myself? I decide to stop the experiment. The scene dissolves, and now I'm outside the building. It has become a large wooden house floating in the air. I'm outside with it, holding on to a corner as it drifts through the sky like a massive log rolling weightlessly. Gravity doesn't matter here. There's no danger, just motion and space. Vibration interpretation. This dream explores conscious experimentation with limits and the wisdom of knowing when to stop. Lucidity here is not used for pleasure or escape, but for inquiry. What hurts? What doesn't? What feels real and what is merely simulated? The staircase and walls represent perceived constraints. When believed in, they hold. When questioned, they lose authority. Pain appears not as punishment, but as data. Feedback without suffering. The claustrophobia sequence is particularly instructive. Fear is shown to be imaginable into being, yet awareness remains intact enough to recognize when exploration crosses into unnecessary distress. Choosing to end the experiment is itself a high vibration act, self-trust over spectacle. Floating outside the house signals integration. After probing the dream's physics, the dreamer exits the structure entirely, existing alongside it rather than inside it. This reflects a collective lesson. Mastery does not require domination of experience. Sometimes it requires stepping outside it. On a planetary level, the dream suggests that raising vibration involves learning the rules of reality gently, ethically, and with care for one's nervous system, not through endurance, but through discernment. DJ Dreamy Spin. I couldn't help laughing at myself afterward. What a strange direction for the dream to take. If my intention was to let the dream lead, then apparently the dream wanted me to test the physics of the place. Pain, impact, fear, solidity, claustrophobia. I was kicking the tires. There is something valuable in that, knowing viscerally that certain things don't hurt, or only hurt because I believe they will, feels empowering. It's like learning the edges of a map. At the same time, I'm glad I stopped. There was a clear moment where curiosity could have tipped into self-inflicted distress, and I chose not to go there. That feels like maturity inside lucidity. Maybe this is like getting familiar with an environment well enough to move freely within it, testing limits so they don't unconsciously control me later. Raising the vibration for me might mean learning the rules of inner reality, then choosing wisely which ones are worth breaking. Questions to raise your vibration. Where in your life might fear or limitation be operating mainly because it is believed in rather than inherently real? How can you explore your edges with curiosity while still honoring your own safety and well-being?